go back to covering that breaking news that we mentioned right off the top of the show. That is the sentencing of Jermiah Copeland, the sailor who pled guilty to unpremeditated murder of fellow sailor Angelina Resendiz. Angelina Resendiz went missing more than a year ago. Her remains were found a year ago to this day. And on this day, Jermiah Copeland gets his sentence of 44 years in prison for those crimes. Now, Esmeralda Castle is Angelina Resendiz's mother. Esmeralda Castle has been vocal in the time since this happened to her daughter, both in terms of pursuing solutions to make sure that sailors feel safe and are safe in the future when it comes to their fellow sailors, and also speaking openly about, in some ways, the process of grief and the pursuit of forgiveness. We know that Esmeralda Castle spoke directly to Jermiah Copeland yesterday. She mentioned in a soundbite that we played in our evening shows yesterday that she got some of the answers she was looking for from that conversation. We also know that Jermiah Copeland's grandmother and Esmeralda Castle shared a long embrace in the courtroom today as members of Jermiah Copeland's family, members of the Copeland family, speaking directly to her about the loss that their son, their grandson, caused directly for her family. And lastly, we know that she spoke with Madison Schlegel and other reporters just outside of the courtroom moments ago. We're going to play that sound for you right now.
Yeah, this is now, it's closed. We closed out this part.
Well, the judge just made the decision. 44 years for Jermiah Copeland. Your first thoughts?
Okay. I really don't like, I mean, it's a long time. Yeah. I mean, I think sad, right? Like, it is what it is.
And today in court, we also heard the family stand up and reference you today, Jermiah Copeland's grandmother. When you heard those words today across the courtroom, not just from his family, but also Copeland himself, what were your emotions?
Restrained, right? Like, just not, just being present, right? And just being there. And this is a person that that took her life, and he's looking me in my eyes and saying that he's sorry, and I accept it, right? And that's it.
What did it feel like to hug the grandmother?
It's necessary, right? There's hurt there, right? There's pain, and it's just comforting.
Well, and on top of that, she mentioned that their family is thinking of you and is thinking of Angie. What does it mean to you to know that Angie's impact has not only left such a mark on you and your family, but now Copeland's family is grieving just alongside you?
I just, we're all people, right? We're all humans, and this is sad, right? Like we're just we're putting ourselves in each other's shoes, right? This isn't a good situation, and how do we make it better? And that's what his grandmother was saying, like, how we can make this better. And I resonate with that, because even though this is what it is, right? There's opportunity for good.
His family spoke about positive change and accountability going forward. What does that look like for you?
Making new laws, opening up the courts for active duty service members. Like, the military needs to be held accountable for the harms that are committed, by, I don't know the right words, but by commands, right? Like, not everything is war. And this had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with readiness, and it's rampant, right? And we don't hear about everything, but change is good, right? Change is coming, right? You can't help it, and you can't stop it. When people want change, it's going to change, and so it's either get with it or get out of the way.
When you think about justice, what does that word mean for you and your family today?
For me, today, this is just completion, right? We're still not done. This isn't justice. This is a process, and justice is when everyone is safe, and that this doesn't happen again. And if it does happen again, they have an avenue, for accountability.
Now that you've been through this entire process, how do you think the Navy needs to change? What should they do differently?
Well, first they need to be following the statutes that are already enacted. Like that's one. They need to follow their policies and procedures that they've created. I think we should just start there. Just do what's right.
You heard an apology today from Copeland, and it appears to me you've accepted it. That's what you said. You received the apology you want to from the Navy?
Not yet.
Today in court, in the closing arguments by the prosecution, they did bring out that black duffel bag today. I could only imagine being a mother, seeing that in the courtroom. Do you think that being the crux of their case, that lasting moment of Angelina, what was going through your head when you saw that brought out today?
I have that same bag, right? She had that bag. I have it there in my, it's in my bedroom. And when we first came here, right, and they explained to me what happened, that bag, it's a little triggery, right? Like, I know that bag. That bag's at my house.
What does an apology from the Navy, what would that look like for you?
That's hard, right? What does it look like? Well, I'm not sure I can't say if they can apologize, but change. Like, that's what, don't tell me words. Show me action. That's all I want to see. I want to see action. You can't tell me nothing. I want to see what you're going to do.
You say action. You've talked about how you might run for office again. Again, you just ran an election. For you, this is just the beginning of what that action looks like post here. Do you have any plans of any symposiums or anything that you've got on the docket?
Well, yes. So this week, right, we have the first military sexual trauma and PTSD symposium in my community. And it's the first one there. Well, I'm excited, right? I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know who's all going to come. I just know I'm going to be there. I'm going to be speaking and be support, right, to whoever needs support and encouragement.
Do you, you made some mention of it, but do you believe you'll keep in touch with his mother and grandmother as she insinuated on the stand today?
If that's what they want, I'm open to that. They want change too, right? Those were her words to me. They could have stopped this. Like, this is preventable. Anyone can see, looking out from the outside, absolutely preventable. I saw it, she sees it, and that's what we're looking at. Like, they should have sent him home. After the first one, they should have sent him home, and they didn't.
We also learned that he's a father today. That was something that we didn't know. Knowing that you're a mother, knowing that his mother was in the room, knowing that he's a father, did that strike you?
That hurt, right? That hurt. But his life's kind of over, right? People are like, that's not enough time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Take a week away from one person behind bars, behind the law. That's a long time, right? Your freedoms are gone. Your liberty's gone. You're not even considered a citizen anymore, right? In prison, slavery is a thing, right? It's so. It's right. You made a bad choice, and these are consequences. And so, he's being held accountable, and I believe that he is accepting, right, that accountability and that responsibility, and hopefully he does what he can for himself while he's, in behind that wall.
You reiterated yesterday some of your fears about Angie joining the Navy initially, and then we heard those again from trial counsel today. Do those fears still resonate with you, or what are your sentiments on that today? And what is your message for anybody that wants to join the Navy? Especially for females, right? Their target. Men,
They suffer as well. But if you're a female and you're thinking about joining the military, you think very hard. Think very hard. Consider your options. Let that be your very last option. Because if they can't guarantee your safety, then you don't need to be signing a contract because you're signing your life away.
Do you think Angie would be proud of today's decision?
Yes. Yes. And my little girl would have been right there hugging him too, right?
So where did the Navy fail you? Is it, they talked about the number of man hours that NCIS put in the search, but did they move quickly enough to go after to find your
They
daughter?
could have stopped this. That's where they failed. From recruitment, right? When he was recruited, he already had a history, and they let him in. He harmed the first woman. They moved him. He harmed the second one. They moved him. They could have done something. The first command could have done something. I will continue to say I think there should be more people in jail, right? Because yes, he took the life, but the conditions were created by the leadership.
Do you think there would have been charges in those other cases if he hadn't been up on the murder charge?
No, absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't think those women would have ever thought anything, and I will continue to speak for them because I don't think they can.
After this sentencing, what's next for you and your family as you continue to heal from the loss of Angelina?
You're going to continue advocating, right? Things need to change in the military. They need to change for the service members. They need to change for the women that join, for the men that join. The military should be a beacon of hope, right? Of strength, of protection, of security, not what it is right now.
Well, we appreciate you speaking with us and answering a couple questions. I know I was like, this is so over.
Okay, so as you can see there, a press gaggle with Esmeralda Castle outside of that courthouse. Now, we've been keeping an eye on Madison Schlegel's live camera here. She has interviewed a number of other people since she's been outside of that courthouse. And also, it appeared as though was able to talk to Esmeralda Castle even further in more of a one-on-one situation. Again, that's us just observing their live camera, Madison Schlegel reporting on the ground, observing that camera from where we are. We don't know if we'll be able to hear from her yet. Madison has a lot of work to do to prepare this story. If we get the chance, we'll certainly take it. For the time being, just going over a little bit of what we heard in that particular interview in terms of what Esmeralda Castle is looking for now. She said making new laws, change, right? Opening up the courts for service members. The military needs to be held accountable was another quote that came from Esmeralda Castle in this instance. She said not everything is war. This had nothing to do with war, insinuating that there should be accountability in those instances, again, for the military. She was asked if she'd received an apology from the Navy, and she said not yet. There was a follow-up question about what that apology could look like, and she said, frankly, it's not words, it's action, and it's change. That change likely meaning some of those new laws that she was talking about, increasing the ability for accountability for the military in situations like this. And then very specifically, again, opening up the courts to service members, to active service members. So Esmeralda Castle continuing to show an immense amount of strength as she moves through this process. And even at one point being asked about that bag, that duffel bag that was shown in court where Angelina Resendiz was at one point, and speaking about how she has that bag herself, you can feel the emotions that come along with that combination of continuing to mourn, being open and willing to speak to Jermiah Copeland and his family, and then, of course, even beyond that, pushing for change from the military. Esmeralda Castle standing before reporters, giving a lot of her time on what is surely another difficult day in a long line of difficult days over the course of the past year and some change since her daughter's disappearance and death. Okay, this is something we'll continue to cover.